So about a month ago, I first saw Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse, and I won't lie, I took my son to see it, and I was pretty damn tired, so I fell asleep through a good half hour of that movie. And so the end result was I didn't really make a lot of sense to me because I couldn't make heads or tails of it. Woman just ran across the street. But I saw it again yesterday, and I have to echo what I'll call him a friend of mine, Captain Kirk from Afro Nerd Radio. Go check that podcast out. He said that it's the best Spider-Man movie to date. I gotta say, I think he might have a point. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It had very poppy animation. It was kinetic, a lot of colors. The animation was a certain style that kind of took a little getting used to. It bordered on photorealistic and kind of like that Star Wars, Clone Wars look, but so much better than that. But man, the story was just really, really engaging. I gotta tell you, I think Miles Morales should supplant Peter Parker as the go-to Spider-Man. He wiped Peter Parker off the map as far as I'm concerned. He was hip, cool, young man of color, or a young man of color. And that's where the world is going. And I just think, boy, the characterizations were right on point. Completely engaged with the story, the plot. If you remember Incredibles 2, a movie that I wasn't that taken with, there was that scene with the mom. I can't remember. Elastigirl, I think her name is, where she's fighting the villain in some electronic room, and there's flashes and everything. That was part of the best scene in that film. Well, this movie has like a ton of those scenes, tons of scenes like that. Just amazing. The voice work was great. I can't really say enough good things about this film. Of course, me being me, I gotta criticize where I find criticism. I'm not really thrilled about this whole Spider-Verse thing. To me, it diminishes Spider-Man. But putting that aside, I don't know. They don't bother to explain in the film where this spider comes from. We just see that it's from some sort of lab because it has some engraving on its body. And clearly it must be radioactive because it gave Miles his powers. They don't bother to explain that. I mean, we know it reading the comic books, but I always think if you don't have me rely on another source for you to tell your story, you need to be bottled up and self-contained. The Kingpin's proportions were a little exaggerated. I mean, I got used to it. I don't know. It kind of got dope towards the end, I guess. But they had my man drawn like he was the Hulk. I mean, bigger than the Hulk. I also didn't like how they kind of did Miles like Finn from Force Awakens. They put him in the friend zone. I don't know if I like that too much either. But at least as compared to Finn, Miles was the one who suggested they be friends. So that tells me that, he's the man, he's moving on to the next. So that's the difference there. But, I think the brothers should get some love too. So given those are the only two issues I had with the movie, I gotta give this thing 4 out of 5 reels, because my complaints, and they're not really even complaints, they're a little superficial. So yeah, there it is. Had I regarded this movie the same way when I first saw it, which was back in 2018, it probably would have gone on my best of for the year. So yeah, great movie, excellent movie. I can't wait for the sequel, and I hope Miles is now the plumb line for Spider-Man. I do have one other issue. The first time I saw this movie, I didn't realize there was an after-credit sequence, because I figured it was more Sony than Marvel. They weren't going to do that. They weren't going to have a scene after the credits. I found out there was, and so I waited this time, and it was kind of whack. Even though I love Spider-Man 2099, I remember reading that comic book when I was in college. That's how long ago that came out. And so it was dope seeing that costume, but it wasn't worth the wait. So don't waste your time with that. I know you're going to if you well, listen to me. Like you haven't already seen this film. I know I'm late on this anyway. But yeah, there you have it. 4 out of 5 reels. Excellent film. Can't wait for Spider-Verse 2 or whatever they do. The next Miles property, whatever it is, I can't wait for it. And that's the Martini.
You gotta choose a side. You gotta choose a side. You gotta pick. You gotta do what's right. Or you gonna lose the fight. You gotta